Eleanor. This is a really cool book. Have you ever seen this one? It's called Mr. Seahorse by Carle. Aren't those pretty colors? Have you ever seen a seahorse? Oh my goodness. It looks like a horse on its head, and it can swim and hang on to things with its tail. They're pretty cool. Oh, two seahorses on this cover page. Mr. and Mrs. Seahorse drifted gently through the sea. Mrs. Seahorse began to wiggle and twist this way and that. That must be Mrs. Seahorse. She looks like she's wiggling and twisting. It's time for me to lay my eggs, she said. Can I help? Asked Mr. Seahorse. Oh, yes, thank you, said Mrs. Seahorse. And she hid her eggs in a pouch in Mr. Seahorse's belly. I'll take good care of your eggs, said Mr. Seahorse. I promise. Mr. Seahorse drifted gently through the sea. He passed right by a group of trumpet fish. What? Do you see some fish in there? Trumpet fish, hidden in the reeds. There they are. Look at that. They're kind of upside down. There's their tails way up high, and their noses are down on the ground. They do look like trumpets. Before long, Mr. Seahorse met another fish. How are you, Mr. Stickleback? Asked Mr. Seahorse. Delighted, cried Mr. Stickleback. I just built a nest right away. Mrs. Stickleback laid her eggs into it, and now I'm taking good care of them until they hatch. Wow. Do you see all those eggs on Mr. Stickleback? That's a lot of eggs. Keep up the good work, said Mr. Seahorse, and he swam on his way. As Mr. Seahorse drifted gently through the sea, he passed right by. Can you tell what that is? Oh, goodness, it's hard to see. It's a lionfish hidden behind the coral. And now Mr. Seahorse is hidden behind the coral, isn't he? That does look a little bit like a lion. Wow. Cool. But before long, Mr. Seahorse met another fish. How are you, Mr. Tilapia? Asked Mr. Seahorse. Mr. Tilapia couldn't answer. His mouth was full of eggs. Oh, my goodness. I know, said Mr. Seahorse. Mrs. Tilapia laid eggs, and now you're taking good care of them until they hatch. Mr. Tilapia nodded his head. Yes. You must be very happy, said Mr. Seahorse, and he swam on his way. As Mr. Seahorse gently drifted through the sea, he passed right by... Oh, what's in there? A whole bunch of leaves. Oh, no, that's seaweed. Oh, look, it's leaf fish. There are leaf fish hidden in the seaweed. And now Mr. Seahorse is hidden in the seaweed. Before long, Mr. Seahorse met another fish. How are you, Mr. Curtis? Asked Mr. Seahorse. Perfectly fine, replied Mr. Curtis. Look at that. Mr. Seahorse is talking to him upside down. And can you see where the eggs are? Can you see some pink dots? Oh, look at that. Are they on his head? Oh my goodness. Mrs. Curtis has laid her eggs and I've stuck them on my head. Now I'm taking good care of them until they hatch. You're doing a good job, said Mr. Seahorse, and swam on his way. As Mr. Seahorse drifted gently through the sea, he passed right by. Oh, can you see an eye? What is this? Oh, it's a stonefish hidden behind a rock. But before long, Mr. Seahorse met another fish. "How are you, Mr. Pipe?" "Couldn't be better," replied Mr. Pipe. "Mrs. Pipe laid her eggs along my belly." Oh, oh my goodness, look at that. All those eggs are just laid right along his underside, along his belly. "And now I'm taking good care of them until they hatch." "You should feel proud of yourself," said Mr. Seahorse, and he swam on his way. Do you think Mr. Seahorse is getting fatter? Oh my goodness, he looks like he's much bigger, isn't he? But before long, Mr. Seahorse met another fish. "How are you, Mr. Bullhead?" "Tip-top," replied Mr. Bullhead. "Mrs. Bullhead laid her eggs, and the eggs hatched, and now I'm babysitting." "You're doing a fine job," said Mr. Seahorse, and he swam away. Wow, look at all these babies. What are they? Baby bullheads. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18 baby fish. He's got a babysit for 18. The time had come for the seahorse babies to be born. Mr. Seahorse wiggled and twisted this way and that, and at last the babies tumbled right out of his pouch and swam away. One baby turned around and tried to come back in the pouch. "Oh no," said Mr. Seahorse, "I do love you, but now you are ready to be on your own." Wow, isn't that interesting? That some daddy fish take care of the eggs until they hatch, or they help take care of the babies after they do hatch. That is really cool. Oh my goodness. Daddies love their babies too, don't they? Even fishies. And your daddy loves you, Eleanor. Well, be a good girl and have fun today. Bye. Give your daddy a big kiss.